Greetings, Mama and Papa. God bless you. I want to give a testimony. It has been 4 years of God's grace, 4 years of God's love, 4 years of God's faithfulness to me. And when I look at the Esthers, I say it is good to belong in a family of God's people. 4 years ago, I became pregnant with my fourth child. It was a mistake. I was not planning to have that child. But God in His ways, in fact, it was not a mistake. It was divinely planned. When I took it, because that was supposed to be my fourth CS, when I took it for that child, I was like, I did not believe that it was pregnancy. So when I went to the hospital, I went and did the pregnancy test. They told me that I am pregnant. I said, God forbid. That doctor asked me that, do you know how many people that come to this hospital and cry to have a child? And you are saying that, God forbid. I said, Doc, is that you cannot
You will not understand.
And this is supposed to be fourth operation. He said, are you God? Are you God? The doctor really scolded at me. I left. I said, I couldn't even walk. That's how I was broken. I couldn't even call my husband. I said, it's not pregnancy. I sat on him, I took a phone, I called him. I said, babes, I'm already through with the doctor. I said, what did he say? I said, he says, I'm pregnant. He says, it is the will of God. It is well. I said, how will you say that it is well? It is not well. The fourth operation is a risk. He said, it is well. He said, take your things and leave from there. I struggled today. I was like crying on the way. I was like, that was the longest pregnancy I've ever had. That 9 months was like 6 years. Every day I would look at it, I said, God. I even went down to Pamela and saw the gynecologist. I said, check with that. Actually, there's a baby in here. I don't believe. Because I took all the precautions. But God did it this way. When they checked, I said, turn and see. At 10, I was looking. I saw what's I said, that's your baby. I left again. That's how I was broken. I went to the house. I said, okay, now my parents, now how they look at me, number 4 operation. And that my deliveries has never been easy. So I was like, oh, I be pregnancy, I'll not tell my mom because she would just start crying. She would just start being worried that maybe something may happen to me during delivery. I went to deliver that child. I went to the General Hospital of Bamenda. It was on the 4th of October. I was supposed to give birth on the 5th of October. When I went there, they checked me and then they took me in. I went in. The only thing, the anesthetist told me that be very vigilant. If you see anything that is going on, if you feel anything, tell me. So as I slept and they were doing was a spinal anesthesia, I only discovered that I was losing breath. I was losing breath, but I was just thinking that maybe it's because
of
they
the
are pushing my
anesthesia.
organs in my stomach. I was just losing breath, and I was just feeling like I'm going somewhere. That I did not even tell. But thank God he was so vigilant, he ran and checked. I said, I told you that anything you should tell me. Anything you should tell me. Just ran, took oxygen, put on my nose, she struggled and struggled. I started vomiting. I was vomiting when they were doing my operation. I thought that was all. It got stable. I only remember that when I was going out, my husband and my parents were outside. They were like, congratulations, thank you for our baby boy. I said, no, you should not talk. My head is killing me. I'm dying. My head. That was the last thing I remember. I only got up on Saturday. That was Tuesday morning. I only discovered myself in the hospital on Saturday. And then I saw they were already feeding the child with milk. I said, hey, but why will people not give me the baby to breastfeed? Nobody answered. I wanted to tell. The bedsheet that I put was not the one that they put on the bed. I said, but I packed my things now. Which kind of bedsheet is this? Nobody answered. I had to look. I was putting on a cover. I said, Master, I put 3 night gown. What are you putting on? Nobody answered. I was just looking at everybody there. I said, what up? It's my friend that came right from home and then came and called me before I got up. So they were just shouting. Everybody was just shouting. Nurses started coming in. The doctors were coming. I was like, what is happening? So now, what they told me was that the Esthers stood for me. The Esthers prayed for me. From the day that I went unconscious, because when they came and put me on the bed, I just went unconscious. But they told me that throughout when I was unconscious, I've been fighting for 4 days. No food, no water, nothing. But I'm fighting and struggling to remove the plaster. That it was a battle. See, today my husband developed a spine problem because of that. Because you cannot leave me alone. They had to just sit beside. When I just start, everybody's positioning. Day in, morning, afternoon, night. They were up watching at me. See, they organized 4 meetings. Emergency meetings with all specialists in Bamenda. They called doctors from far that they should just understand what is happening with me. Till today, nobody knows what happened. They called, they tried this one. If you see in my hospital book, I've brought it, you'll just see, Ojen. They met him. This person is running to go and buy. Another person is coming. Another person is coming. It was just like, they removed me and went and kept me in a special room right up where they don't keep women that have given birth. They went and kept me there. I needed no noise. I just had to be confined there. Because when I get up, I'm shouting, the whole hospital is shaking. But I did not even know what was happening. So when they went and kept me there, on that day I wake up, the doctor came, the specialist that we know, that Dr. Peace, if you know him, he came and asked me that, Gee, how are you? I said, I'm fine. He said, what happened to you? I said, Doc, I should be asking you. I don't know. The only thing I could remember is that I was in a place, there was just darkness, frightful things frightening me. So when I got up and then they explained the thing to me, I told my husband, I'm sure I went to hell. And God has given me another chance to come. Where was I like that? Frightened. Because my husband asked me that, why were you shouting constantly like something's frightening you? I said, the only thing I can remember is that I saw frightful things throughout I was there. I said, maybe God is giving me a second chance to come and live right for Him. God is giving me a second chance. God works. Thank God for the backing that I have in Him. The Esters took a program. Immediately they called them. Fasting, calling minute by minute, praying for me, interceding. And I just know that God said that if this one goes, they will not serve me. And that's why I'm standing here. Stand to the glory of God. Congratulations.